majority of the time, the best thing you can do is do more. And I'm gonna give you 3 reasons why. So, do more, okay? Why? Why is this usually the best course of action in a business, particularly a service business, because that's my specialty, service businesses. We do have e-commerce clients, but service businesses between 50K to $500,000 a month, that's usually our sweet spot. And there's a few reasons why, so do more. The first thing is feedback loops, okay? Feedback and then loops, right? So oftentimes people get jaded. We're humans, we get tired. And when something's repetitively painful or not working, we want to give up. It's like, well, I've tried 5 times, like I should give up, I should stop. But the thing is, and the reality is, every time you do something again and again and again, 1 time, 5 times, 100 times, 1,000 times, you just get faster feedback loops. For me, when I start my Monday and I'm looking at like all the things that I have to do, whether it comes to hiring, accounting, sales, strategy, branding, etc., for different clients or different strategies with my account managers, we have 40 staff, right? I'm always looking for where can I just jump in and get so much feedback really quickly, because that's going to be the thing that's going to allow me to iterate to get better. So the good thing about feedback is it allows you, this craziness allows you to iterate. And iteration, okay, iterate leads to winning, leads to money. Because you have to iterate so many times to the point where, okay, the 10th iteration or the 8th iteration or the 80th iteration is the time that hits. You don't know when it will hit. That's why you have to get fast feedback loops and you have to iterate a lot of times, and then you'll eventually find the winning formula. I had been trying to find the right closer and salesperson for years. I hired salespeople at 20. I hired my first, it's unfortunate this person's passed away, but I had my first appointment setter, closer, and friend, quite frankly, be a closer and appointment setter when I was 22. That didn't work. He wasn't that good at it, but he was learning. That was my first attempt to try and manage a salesperson. And then at 24, I hired 2 salespeople. I was not a good enough leader. I lost both of them. One of them started their own SEO agency. Another one, I just didn't manage correctly and it just wasn't good. And it wasn't until I was 25, I'm 26 now, okay? So it wasn't until like the last 12 to 14 months where, okay, like I am now good enough to where I've got a closer on my team that's better than me at closing deals. He's already this month closed more deals than me. Shout out to Era James, my guy, right? And then we've got Chris, and then we got Trisha, and then we got like a bunch of appointment setters. We got like 3, 4, 5 appointment setters. So there's now a sales combination, excluding me, of like 8 people. But it took me, 6 years of iteration before I was good enough to find a good sales person and salespeople, right? And sales team leaders. So that's the first thing about doing more. You can get more reps, more feedback, more iterations that lead you to the win. The second thing is you get resilience. So this is kind of 2 in the same, right? But what happens is, resilience. Look at my bet, really good spelling. Resilience, okay. Resilience allows you to build grit, or as David Goggins will talk about it, he'll talk about callousing your mind. And whilst that might sound airy-fairy, that's very real. For me, I can have a terrible week, maybe, and this is gonna sound very pretentious, maybe we only made 15K that week, but you guys don't understand. My agency spends every month anywhere between like 40 to like 70K, not 70, 40 to 60-ish K a month. That's just expenses. So 15K in a week is like just above water, if not below water. But I can also have a 40 grand week and be like cool, like I'm not too high, I'm not too low. I try to stay around a 7 out of 10 emotionally. And there's a lot of business leaders that talk about kind of staying on that 7 out of 10. But the reason why I try to stay there is because I don't want to be too high or too low. I want to be even keeled. And that's something that I actually used to struggle with. Not even in business, but just in life in general. Like I would, not necessarily just, I would be, I would love to celebrate something and I'll be very resilient, but I definitely would sometimes need like maybe just even if it's 30 minutes or an hour to recoup. But now I can face a loss. I'm like, ouch, painful, keep moving forward, right? So resilience, it's hard to get resilience when you've done little, period. You need to do so much that you you expect the worst, or you aim for the best, but also expect the worst. And resilience is not something that you can teach, it's only something that can be earned. Okay, so resilience, that's the second thing. And you want to stay, I think, usually around a 7 out of 10. The third thing is that the more you do, generally speaking, less, it's going to sound tongue-in-cheek, less likely to give up. And it sounds ironic because I've also mentioned that people will be like, oh, like I've tried a million times. Like, but if you've really tried, like you've really done something, like 10,000 hours, 5,000 hours, even 3,000 hours on something over like 3, 5, 10, 20 years, whatever. And I can't speak about 20 years because I'm 26, but even like 5 years, let's just say. There's a depth of domain expertise that you get that you want to now use to your advantage. Because, you know, other people, like I know that when it comes to like being good at sales, most people, to get really good at sales, you're probably going to have to at least spend 3 to 5 years in like a sales specific environment where you're going to have to earn it. You're probably going to have to do some version of door knocking or cold calling. And a lot of people, most people give up just at that entry level. But I know that I passed that level. I got promoted, I've been fired, like I've done, and then there's an appointment set at team leader level. And then after that, there's a closer level or an account executive level. Then after that, there's a senior account executive or a senior closer level. Then there's a closer team leader level. And then there's a managing director level, or there's a head of sales level. Like I've been head of sales, I've been a BDM, I've been an appointment setter, I've been a closer for different companies. I've done multi-level marketing. So for me, I'm thinking, oh, if I quit now, well, I'm already like ahead of like 95% of the people in terms of skill, in terms of depth of domain knowledge in my space. So the longer you do something by doing more of it, by staying in the fight, the less likely you're to give up, not even because you're necessarily winning, it's just because you've seen so many people lose. And by losing, I mean quit so early. So doing more 99% of the time is the best way to win in business. More reps equals faster feedback, faster iteration, quicker to the money. It creates more resilience and you're able to be more emotionally, even keeled, and emotionally resilient. And of course, you're less likely to give up because everyone else will. All right, if you guys got value out of this, comment, like, and share this with a friend. And as always, think mega.